Okay, I'm doing some Cappel training and shoeing, and today I want to talk to you about the mental aspect of riding. I've just gotten on a fresh horse here this morning. It's a cool, crisp morning, and I'm going to walk around here and get him prepared. While I'm walking, we'll talk about the mental aspect, and then when I'm done, I've got a couple patterns set up here, one drawn in the sand, and I'm going to use those tires. They're things that I use to help me to implement that clear mental picture. You know, that is, to me, probably one of the most important things that anybody could do is to learn how to develop your mind so that it works for you instead of against you. If we don't consciously take control of what's going on with our thoughts, we'll have ourselves in a tizzy all the time. And the problem with that is that when we get uptight, it reads into our horses, and they'll be uptight just because we are. So that's why it's so important to work on that mental aspect. And what I'm doing right here is I'm just walking 4 straight lines. I made a corner there, and now I'm going to go straight away. I'm going to ask him to come up into a trot. And while I'm trotting here, I'm going to make a corner here. Now I'm straight. So the corners give me an opportunity to use my inside leg. The straightaway gives me an opportunity to use my outside leg. And I'm just feeling of this horse underneath me, feeling where his thoughts are, where he's looking right there. He raised up and looked at the horses beside me. Now he's outside the pen, and he's looking all around. So he's really not with me at the moment. So I'm just riding him, and I want him to start reaching forward, reach forward, and get up there and use up his energy in a productive way. So when I sit back and I use my legs, I'm expecting this horse to come from behind and step up into that soft feel, step forward, straight forward and relaxed is how I want my horses to carry themselves. But back to the mental part, you know, I'm no different than anybody else. I know what it's like to be very nervous on a horse. I know what it's like to go into a show so nervous that you can't really remember your name. And that's just, you know, part of the experience if a person expects to go anywhere. And a show might be nothing more than just riding your horse in the barn or taking your horse outside and getting them comfortable outside, going on a trail ride. There's all sorts of challenges that we'll come across. So the mind, your mind, that's the most important element. That's what you're going to carry with you to every horse you get on and every experience that you have. So I believe that the most important thing for us to do is to train ourselves to stay in the now, stay in the moment. Because step by step, that's what's important to a horse. As this horse takes a step and he looks off out there, he left me. So if I recognize that and I can help him when he does that and bring him back, see him tuck his nose right there and soften up and go straight forward right here. If I can keep him on the path that's out in front of me, that's being in the moment, and that's riding a horse step by step. It's not micromanagement. It is simply being there for the horse and not letting them step out of your picture. If you're present when you're with those horses, you can help them as soon as they start to go out of your picture, so it doesn't take very much. But if you're sitting up there asleep and they take 2 or 3 steps outside of your picture, I'm going to let this horse go to the right here. See, if I let him just go off out here and don't do anything about it, he's loose. And if a horse takes too many steps when they're loose, when they think they're loose, they'll take over control. So that's the importance of being in the now and how I utilize that, what I call the clear mental picture. we use those things. We use a clear mental picture all the time. If I say the word apple, don't you instantly conjure up an image in your mind of an apple, or your car, or your front door, or whatever. I mean, whenever you're getting ready to take a trip somewhere, you'll go out and get in your automobile, and you'll know exactly where you're going to go. So you're the one that's in control, and the journey falls out, comes to you, moment by moment, and you're going to do whatever you need to do in the moment. If you're sitting there on your horse and you're looking out ahead, looking where you're going, just like when you're in traffic, if you're sitting in your car and you're looking far enough down the road, you're going to see if there's, danger ahead, if there's maybe an accident up ahead of you that you need to deal with, or whatever it needs to be. And if you're paying attention far enough ahead by being present in the moment, you're going to be able to navigate those, let's just call them obstacles that come to us every day, every minute, easily, and come out better for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask this horse to canter here now, and I'm gonna set him up to take a right lead, which will be his hip slightly to the inside, and just going straight forward. I'm gonna pick up on the bridle rein just a little bit, and then ask him to step up, and then just go with it. I'm still riding on that straight line. And I've got some lines drawn in the sand here. I'm going to come across the middle of the pen straight. I'm going to get out there on that outside line. He thought I was going to turn. So he changed leads. He was anticipating. It's all right. He's fresh. So we're going to go straight on. I'm going to make nothing but right turns here. Right turns. I've got this map laid out on the ground here for me. I'm riding straight or making square corners. Straight, square corner. Straight, square corner. And stepped up there straight. So this gives me an opportunity to help this horse to get on the path that I'm riding on. He keeps wanting to stop on me, so I'm going to ask him to get up, move on out a little more forward. I'm going to change leads here. So this is a mental image of a cloverleaf pattern that I'm riding here. And this is allowing me to be ahead of my horses, knowing exactly where I want them to go. Got his nose up and out a little more than I'd like for it to be, so I'm going to lift on the bridle rein, ride him up into that bridle. Gives me an opportunity sometimes to use my inside leg there, and sometimes both legs, sometimes just the outside leg, depending on what I'm feeling this horse do. I'm going to go to the middle, stop and roll back, and come out of that on the left lead. This helps break up the monotony and get a horse listening a little better to stop. Let's go back on that left lead. He was anticipating change of direction there, so I'm staying on the left lead here. See how soft he's starting to come back. I'm going to stop here. Now that time, when I spoke, he stopped. It wasn't where I wanted to stop. So there's kind of a stutter step in there. It's all right. He's fresh. He didn't know that I wasn't going to say whoa. And these are things that start to happen when a horse starts to anticipate. So he told me I'm anticipating stopping there in the middle of the pen, because as soon as I started to talk to you guys, he decided to stop, and then it was ugly, and he stopped on his front feet. Nothing seemed to work all that well, so that's okay. He's fresh. I'm not out here showing him. I'm out here preparing him so that perhaps I could go somewhere, you know. And you can't expect them to be perfect in your practice or anywhere as far as that goes. So yeah, that's how I use this Cloverleaf pattern. And I've got those tires set up out there. I'll do these at a trot, and I'll just pick up the trot here, and I'll enter this tire about 4 feet from the tire. And then I think about coming around that tire and looping, making a complete loop around, and I'm crossing the tracks that I just came in on that sets me up to go directly to that other tire. Again, I'm 4 feet to the right of it, just stepping around here, cross over the tracks I just came in on that points me straight to this. I've got 5 tires set up out here. And this is a free-flowing pattern that will get you the opportunity to ride on a straight line, and give you the opportunity when you get to this tire, keep going forward. You might need inside leg, you might need outside leg, depending on what you're feeling, and then it just flows right into the next tire. And this gives me an opportunity to feel this horse. He's either with me or he's not. He's either paying attention to what I want or he's looking off. Right now he's looking off quite a bit. So I'm going to bridle him up here just a little bit more. And take a hold of him, ride him up into that. Get him to listen to me a little better. I'm going to ask for a little more forward here. Get up in that bridle and stay up in there. I'm being a little more strict here, developing a little more work ethic. I'm going to go ahead and canter here. Go out here, get around this tire. This time I'm going to change direction. So I'll change leads in the middle. Let him walk here. So these are just tools that I use to help me to stay on a path, to set the stage so that I'm there for my horse, stride by stride, so I recognize when they're with me, when they're not with me, and it's such a free-flowing thing that a horse will have time to get comfortable listening to you. I try to arrange it always to where when the horse steps into my picture, I let that horse feel the complete freedom. It's the power of the sweet spot, I call it. Whenever the horse is between my boundaries, between my legs, between the bridle reins, I simply let them have complete freedom in that. And then I like to stay at something long enough until the horse feels like that they're comfortable in it. And then to stay interested into the horse, then I switch to something else. And these are all part of the mental games of riding a horse, and hope you enjoyed that.